Good morning, Faribault Rotary Strive students. I'm Kurt Halverson, and I am so excited to have you back for our final Strive session for January. And today we've got an excellent program with Kym Anderson, who is a local celebrity and all-around wonderful person. So Kym is the executive director of the Faribault Foundation and also a representative of the Faribault Chamber of Commerce and a proud Faribault Rotarian. And in your lifetime, you come across people that are absolutely wonderful, warm, engaging, positive people. And Kym Anderson is one of those people who is truly a treasure. And she is involved in a program. It's a global program that there's a group of supporters here in Faribault called the Virtues Project. And essentially, this project serves to highlight the positive qualities that we have and how we can use those to make the world a better place, even by just little things. And it also talks about, hey, there might be things that you want to grow, and it might be something like forgiveness. Maybe it's something where in the past, if you've been hurt by somebody, you might hold a grudge, but you can learn to forgive and whatnot. And so I'm so excited for Kym to share this information with you. And I think it's going to make a really positive difference for you. I know it has for me. So Kym, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Kurt. What an introduction. Wow. Now I feel a little bit of pressure to give a great presentation. So Kurt was among people that I was part of too, a number of years ago, that took a couple of days to really learn about the Virtues Project. And since that time, it's been about 5 years, a number of us have been active in trying to share the message of the Virtues Project locally. And so the screen you're seeing now is our mission statement. And our mission is to promote and encourage the recognition and practice of virtues to enrich the lives of people in our community and to further the cause of unity. So I'm sure you can see that the idea that unity is an important thing is something that's worth working for. In the time that we've been working, we've done a number of things, and I'm going to start my presentation by telling you about the things we've done locally, and then we'll go global and talk about what the international program offers. So in August of 2016, we had 68 people, and these were teachers and administrators from schools and nurses and doctors and workers from big businesses all over the community join us for 2 whole days of training about the Virtues Project. And since then, we've done a number of things. We've done a lot of community workshops. We've had 5 people, including myself, take additional training so that we can become presenters and facilitators about the Virtues Project. And we've done the Virtue of the Week and a number of other things. And I'm going to show you some of the pictures of what we've done. This is a little gift package that we put together and gave to all the kindergarten teachers and all the daycares in our community. And it's a guide of how to teach about virtues and some cards and some games and activities that all are about teaching people that they have virtues within them and that they have the ability to demonstrate those virtues. Even though it might be hard at times, everybody has the ability to demonstrate and live those virtues. When, before COVID, we were able to be at a lot of events at schools. So we would be at parents' night, or we would be at a community school night, and we would play games and do activities with kids to show about the value of virtues. And here's a little gal who knew that she was helpful and honest and kind, and she drew a little frame of herself and displayed her virtues. And here's another little sweetheart that showed her virtues in frames that we provided. We did a Virtue of the Week starting in the fall of 2016 that lasted for a year. We had a lot of local writers write about the the virtue that was most important to them in their life. And here's one that wrote about responsibility. That's the Chief of Police, Andy Bowen. Maybe you know some of these people. These are teachers and coaches in the community that have received from us a Hidden Gem Award, showing that in the community they have really represented a virtuous person and that we honored them for their virtues. We did that in partnership with the Faribault Daily News, and it was really fun. It lasted a few years, but again, it was one of those things that we had to stop doing for a while because of COVID. Another project that we did is we had businesses and institutions in the community select a virtue that was the most important to them. And this one, openness, was chosen by the public library, the Buckham Memorial Library. And they value openness because of their willingness to be open to everyone and their mission really to invite the whole community in. Here's a couple more: Bloom Floral and Glass Garden Beads, that chose these virtues. So we made posters like this that you're looking at, and we hung them up in the stores that selected the virtue. And we thought they'd maybe be up for a few months, but they ended up being kept for years. They're still up in a lot of stores. And I think that shows how much people really appreciate being known for and recognized for the goodness that's in them. This is a teacher from Roosevelt School, Wanda Holmgren, and she's part of our group. And she had this idea that she wanted all people to be able to be recognized for their virtue and that they would see that they have virtues within them. So she had this idea to create a trail. So the sign that you see is actually a mirror, and you can walk this trail and look in that mirror and see yourself in the reflection. And each one of the 20 signs says, I am, and then it names a virtue, and it names the virtue in Spanish, Somali, and English. And here's a little bit about it. Now that trail has been up for a few years, and it's right along the walking trail between the Depot restaurant and the Crooked Pint restaurant. So if you have not been there, I really encourage you to go. Here's another one of the signs. And when you're right next to it, you see your reflection in it, and it's really a nice way to remind yourself that you do have those virtues. A couple summers ago, we held lots of family nights in that trail area. We had a booth up to share information about the Virtues Project with people. We had painting and coloring and story time. We even had a little Virtues Theater that used local students, local kids to put on little plays about virtuous topics. Here's a bunch of kids who created a house called the Virtues House. And each one of those little shapes in the house that you see is a virtue. And it was their family's idea to say that their house was built on virtues, which I think is just a beautiful message. There was a challenge course, a physical challenge course, like an obstacle course put up, and we were one of the sponsors. And so we helped kids see that the virtue that they chose would help them be successful in their challenge course that they did. The kids chose a virtue and then they put it on a headband so they could wear the headband while they were doing the obstacle course. Again, this had to end with COVID, but we were involved in having students, or families, I should say, come to movies at the Paradise Center for the Arts. And we would show these various movies. But before the movie started, we would talk about the characters in the movie, and we would talk about the virtues that those characters had and how they had to have those virtues in order to turn around the story of their that was shown in the movie. So maybe that's something you could do, is when you are watching a show or a movie, think about what the main character is demonstrating. What virtue do they need in order to overcome the challenge that is presented in the plot of the movie? We also have given presentations about the Virtues Project at the annual Martin Luther King Jr. event. We did that in 2020 and in 2021. You know Sam Oak. Some of you do perhaps. He was the diversity, I believe his title was a diversity coordinator at the Faribault High School, Faribault Public Schools, and he has since left, but when he was here, he was part of our group and was part of the people that took that 2-day class. And he decided too that the virtues were an important part of his teaching. We did another year of virtues in 2020, a little more challenging because of COVID, but we had discussion questions and activities for families and groups of friends to do a round of virtue every week. And this was also printed in the daily news and shared on the radio. And even that billboard by KFC proclaimed the virtue of the week for us. And in 2022, we're also doing a virtue of the week. That's going to be on our website and on our Facebook page. So if you're interested, you can take a look at that. So I've told you a little bit about our local effort and the things that we've done locally, but I want to share with you too some of the things that are worldwide around the Virtues Project and the resources that might be helpful for you. I hope that you can take a peek at these particular websites and maybe take a look at them out on your own. And then the email address is to our group. So if you have any questions or would like to share information with us about what you've learned about the Virtues Project, we'd love to hear from you. This topic is not just like for the holier than thou types or the people that, you know, are thinking about this. This is a science. And the video talks about how scientists have studied these character traits within people and the value of character within people and how that changes lives, really. So I'm sorry that video didn't work, but I'll try to get that to you to share. And I'll just move on. So what are virtues, right? Virtues are the goodness in us. They are the gifts of our character. They're the qualities of our spirit and our inner strength. And we all have those virtues within us. One of the basic beliefs of the global program of the Virtues Project is that everybody has the ability to demonstrate and live out all of the virtues. Now, not all of them are easy for us. Some of them are tough and require some effort, but we all have that potential in us to be virtuous and live out all the virtues. So the Virtues Project is a whole system. There's strategies and textbooks and all kinds of resources available to help people remember the qualities of their good character, things that are common to the cultures of the whole world, and that give people an opportunity to have better relationships and better activities in their family, in their school, in their business, and in the community. So we know, for example, of families that have a virtue of the day, and they look for that in the people that they encounter throughout the day. I know of coaches locally who start practices with a virtue every time to remind their players that even though they want them to be tough on the ice or on the court or on the field, they also want them to be good people. We know of businesses in town that start their employee staff meetings with a reading of a virtue. And it might be one that someone selects that's really important for their company right now. So there's a lot of ways that people can use these virtues and a lot of resources to help people understand how to use them. So this is not just a local thing, as I mentioned. It's a worldwide program. It was started in 1991. Way back in 1994, they were honored by the United Nations for the work that they do. It was the year of the family, and they were honored for the fact that the message of the Virtues Project was about unity. And since then, people like me and people that are a lot smarter than me are traveling the world really and sharing the message of virtues over 130 countries. We recently had a 30th anniversary online Zoom presentation, and I think there were 60 different countries represented in that Zoom call. We had the program in 6 different languages. It was really, really interesting to understand that all around the world, people are having this conversation about virtues. One of our friends that's involved has been to Faribault a number of times and given presentations at Faribault Public School. Her name is Dara Feldman, and several times a year she travels to India, where she gives presentations to thousands of teachers about using the Virtues Project in their schools. So the program was developed by 3 people who have kind of an interesting background. It was a woman who is a psychotherapist, and she was challenged to come up with a program at schools that had no religious basis, but was available to help teach character. So she was working on that. Her husband is a psychologist, a pediatric psychologist, and he was also a professor of world religions. So he did research to find out what is the basic element, even more important than values, what was the basic element of human character? And he saw that all around the world, no matter what the culture or the value system of a country or a family or a group of people, virtues were worldwide agreed upon as the foundation of character. The third founder was the brother of Linda Kaplan Popoff, and she was one of the founders. Her husband Dan and her brother John. John worked for Walt Disney, and he was a Walt Disney Imagineer. He helped create the Walt Disney theme park in Japan, and he was kind of an artist. So it was his work that created some of the beautiful imagery that the Virtues Project uses. So we believe that virtues are the content of our character. They're the basic element of the human spirit, and they are in all of us. We also believe that virtues help us know who we are. They help us understand the purpose of our life. When you start to think about what virtues you really are good at, that helps you understand the kind of direction you can take in your life. If you have special strength in certain virtues, that'll help you. So some of the resources that we have include cards that give the definition of these virtues. And that's sort of the basic building block of it, because these are not hard words. These are words you know and probably use. But if you have a deeper understanding of the meaning and how they show up in your life, it can help you really acknowledge the virtues in yourself and others. So why do we use virtues and not values? Because, often we talk about values as being such an important thing, and they are. But if you really think about it, you can value things that are not good. That we might be on a little bit of a wrong path if that happens, but if you can, have a group of people that have values that are not necessarily good character. And so as these founders developed the Virtues Project, they knew that even more important than values are virtues, because that's the basic foundation. It's kind of like the alphabet of how you can learn about virtues. One of the things we like to talk about too is the personal effort that every person takes in their lifetime to become a better person. And that never ends. I think last month you heard from George Wickstrom, and he's one of the people in our group, actually. And he's 91, I think he'll be 92 years old in a few weeks. And he is also still on a continuous quest to improve his character and become a better person. And so I just want to put that thought in your mind, that the way you talk to yourself, your inner voice and your inner thinking, is really important. It really matters. And so each of us is called to become better people on a regular basis and help other people do that too. And the words that we use are powerful. I don't think it would take much for you to think about some time when someone has spoken some harsh or mean words to you. If you just think about that right now, I bet you can think of something pretty quickly when someone hurt your feelings or said something that was offensive to you. So it's true that words matter. And what we try to do with the Virtues Project is arm you with words that are powerful and also are calling you to be your best self. So they help you with your character development, and they also help you with your relationships because you can share virtue acknowledgments with other people. So I mentioned before that we have all of them. We all have all of them. Trust me, we do. But we all have them in different strengths, right? So I might be really good at a couple. Kurt's going to be good at different ones. You're going to be good at other ones as well. Those are called your strength virtues, the ones that are easy for you, that come naturally to you. Maybe there's somebody that you know is just always the most kind person, or always committed to getting something done, or has a lot of resilience in their life. Those are strength virtues. Others are growth virtues. Those are the ones that you're pretty good at, and you can make that happen pretty easily, but you need to still work on them. And then all of us, trust me, have these challenge virtues. They're harder to bring out, they're harder to demonstrate in our lives, but they're there for us if we try hard enough. So think about the fact that you have things that come naturally to you. That's what you start with. The strategies of the Virtues Project are these. There's 5 of them. And just like with any other learning, one builds upon the next. And so I would love to share with you more deeply, more information about all 5 of these. And you probably can recognize how important each one of them would be. Setting clear boundaries around your work and around your feelings is important. Being a good companion to someone, those are ways to be a really good friend. There are strategies using the virtues that help with that. But the first one is speaking the language. And that's kind of, like I said before, understanding the words, the basic elements of the Virtues Project. So we're going to be providing for you an app, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that, that will help you learn the words and become better equipped to speak the language of virtues. The language of virtues really help you use those powerful words that are packed with meaning, that give significance to our statements. So for example, if I say, so-and-so is really a very nice person, you might get the idea of what kind of person they are. But if I use words like they're generous and they're committed to helping other people and they're so caring, you can see that those virtue words that I use add a lot of meaning to what I've said about that person, not just saying that they're nice. And when we use words like that, we can help other people see the virtues that they have, which is a great compliment and a great way to build relationships, is to tell people about the virtues that they had. I'll just say, Kurt did that with me when he introduced me this morning, and it was very kind of him to do that. And I really felt honored by his introduction. But we all want that, right? We all want to be recognized for the goodness and the positive things that we have in us. And so that's what the Virtues Project can do. So I mentioned quickly about the app. There is a free sample app available in the App Store and Google Play. It's called Virtue Cards. And with Virtue Cards, you've got the virtues right on your phone. And you can send a virtue message to people. You can remind yourself to do a daily virtue review. You can mark your favorite ones. You can send them by text or by email. You can post them on social media. So that it's really a fun and interesting way to use the virtue words. And the ones that we use in schools are called the Educator Deck, and that's only 99 cents. And the other ones, if you like those better, if you look for that and want to do that on your own, they're only $5. So it's really a fun way to use the Virtues Project in a very easy way to grasp with your phone at your fingertips all the time, right? So in this time of our history, with all the social unrest and with what's happening in the world with COVID-19, the International Board of Directors for the Virtues Project realized that this is a really important time for us to be out in the world talking about virtues, because most of us want to be better people, and we want to better understand our friends and our relationships with family and others around us. And so we know that the Virtues Project can build the best in ourselves and help us to bring out the best in other people. And we find that by sharing the resources of the Virtues Project, it gives people those tools. I do want to share with you what some of these virtues are, because we had a screen a bit ago that was a list of 100, or maybe it was 50, but this is one that is really, maybe something that appeals to you right now, the idea of justice. And the card, you're looking at both the front and the back of the card. They look like this when you have the hard copy, but like I said, they're all available on the app as well. But this is the card for justice. And if you just want to look at it while I read it, you get the idea. Practicing justice is being fair. It's solving problems so everyone wins. You don't prejudge. You see people as individuals. You don't accept it when someone acts like a bully, cheats, or lies. Being a champion for justice takes courage. Sometimes when you stand for justice, you stand alone. You are practicing justice when you treat everyone fairly, when you think for yourself and refuse to prejudge, when you avoid gossip and backbiting, own your own mistakes and fix them, protect people's rights, including your own, solve problems so everyone wins. An affirmation for your own work in justice. I act with justice. I stand up for the rights of others and myself. I have no need to pretend or defend. I choose to make amends. So when I mentioned to you the deeper understanding of these words, this is what I was referring to. The idea that you can really get down to the meaning of these beautiful words and use them in a way that's meaningful for others. Here's peacefulness. I'll just give you a minute to take a look at peacefulness. Something that we all need in our life, right? Idealism is one of those virtues that I think is especially strong in young people. And I hope that you are all people who have high ideals and believe that idealism is important. So when you have ideals, you really care about what is right and meaningful in life. You follow your beliefs. You don't just accept things the way they are. You make a difference. Idealists dare to have big dreams and then act as if they are possible. You're practicing idealism when you really care about what you value in life, when you dare to have big dreams, when you have a vision of what's possible, when you plan to make your ideals real, take action to make your dreams come true, and do something to make a difference in the world. So I hope you can all say with me right now, I live by my ideals. I believe in my dreams. I have faith that anything is possible. And finally, unity. Whether you're in school or, off to work after you're done with school, or in college or at the vocational college, challenges of getting along with people are real. And thinking about unity in a sense within your close relationships, as well as in a community or around the world, is really an important message. So I hope that you'll take a look here at this virtue of unity. And that is one of the foundational beliefs of the Virtues Project, is unity. So I bring this one to you to to think about on your own. And as you're thinking about how you could put this to use, I would encourage you to think of someone you can acknowledge. So think of the virtues that we've talked about, or maybe look it up, go back to the slide about the whole list, and tell someone about the virtue that they demonstrate. So I would say to all of you right now, I honor the commitment you have to your self-improvement by participating in Strive. So commitment is a virtue. Many of you have had to show great resilience to get through the awkward couple of years that we've had because of COVID. So I recognize your resilience, another virtue. You get the idea of how you can recognize them in yourself as well as acknowledge them in other people. So this is the end of my presentation, and I'm showing you that mural that's up in Faribault in the downtown area, that love mural, because love is certainly a virtue as well. And I'm guessing it's not going to work to show you the video, but as part of the International Virtues Project 30th anniversary, one of the people involved in the Virtues Project created a original song and created a music video that included photos from around the world, and our little group from Faribault was in it as we stood in front of this love mural. So again, maybe I'll give it a try and see if I can. Oh, that's not working. What's going on? Okay, well, that didn't work. And I've got to stop whatever is happening in the background there. It might be it might be what's going on, Kurt? Do I have ads running or something? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. And Kurt, I can't hear you.
There we go. I must have
Okay,
muted
so
myself.
let me just say, I hope you guys got a good laugh over my technology problem there. I know what was happening now. The video I wanted to show you had an ad embedded in front of it, so I apologize for that. There is a virtue called patience and understanding, so I hope that you will understand that I had that little problem there with my technology. But thank you all for your attention and interest in this topic. And again, thank you to Kurt for running this great Strive program for our students.
Oh, Kim, it's absolutely our pleasure to have you. This is such great information, and I'm so excited for us to be sharing information with the students about the Virtues Project. And watch for communication coming out very soon that will include information on how you can get your free app for the Virtues, that the Rotary Club will pay the tab on that for you. And also, we are going to be having an end of the year Strive banquet, which is an opportunity for you and your family to come to the Inn at Shattuck St. Mary's to hear more about the Strive program for your family so that they can learn about what you've been participating in, as well as scholarships will be awarded that night as in addition. So that is the evening of Sunday, February 20th, and we'll have more information coming out about that soon. As a reminder, scholarship applications are due today, and Edel is taking care of those, so keep sending them into the general Faribault Rotary strive@gmail.com email. And if you have questions specific to the scholarship program or need assistance, email Edel, and I included his email address on the email I sent out yesterday. The last thing I want to add before we wrap up is that I had just recently seen something on Facebook that ties in so well with what Kym talked about today and what the Virtues Project is striving to do. And Kym may have seen this post as well. I just tried finding it and I couldn't find it, but it was a story somebody posted about being a college professor and inviting a monk to come and visit with the class. And the monk came in and wrote on the blackboard back when they had blackboards. Now it's whiteboards or smartboards. He had written, everyone wants to change the world, but nobody wants to help mom do the dishes. And so the monk went on to say, people envision changing the world by doing great things like creating peace amongst feuding countries or curing diseases or things like that. However, it's important to know that every one of us has the ability to be kind and to be helpful to others. So think about that concept as you go through life. What things can you do to help make life easier for others? What things can you do to spread kindness? How can you recognize positive qualities in others and spotlight them? I remember when I first learned about the Virtues Project, Kym had told me about how she uses the virtues with her, I think it was her grandson. She said, hey, she recognized these positive qualities that he had, and she'd tell him, hey, I really like the way you did this. This, demonstrates this virtue or whatnot. And she noticed that after she recognized that with him, he did it more. And so it's like, people are doing great things every day all around us. Take a second to say, hey, I really like the way you did this, or I really like the way you treated this person or helped this person out. Just that simple recognition really goes a long ways. So Kym, thank you so much. And for the Strive students, if you would please just send me a takeaway from this presentation, email it to me. We always include those in our thank you notes to our guest speakers, and they love seeing those. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you at the banquet at the end of February. Take care, Kym.